and I have one older sister and one younger brother. So my family has 5 members. What about you?
So my name is Titan, and I'm 18 years old, and I go to a school called Glenfield College. And my family, I have my brother, my mom, and my dad, and it's 4 of us in a family. Yeah.
That's cool. So today I want to talk about the difference between two countries' school. So let me go first. My school is the one of the 3 public schools that have a Cambridge program. One of them is a high school and other 2 is a middle school. Yeah, mine is a high school. Are New Zealand schools divided into private and public?
Yeah. So the school I go to is a public school, and we don't have to pay anything for it. Well, we do donations, but not really have to. But private schools, they're very expensive here. They're like $20,000 a year. So that's around like 50 million in Mongolian money, around that much. It's a lot. And those are like very expensive schools, yeah. And private schools have like, they have Cambridge as well. I'm pretty sure they have that program and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, there are many private schools that have a Cambridge program, but the payment is too high, about 5 to 15 million euros. Yeah, yeah. So my school is a public and has a Cambridge program, so we need to take an exam. The exam is taken from the 9th graders, and for first 40 students who above the dimensional point 540 will enter the school. But luckily, when I gave an exam, they announced that they changed their students number to 104. That means the year of the 2019 to 2020 class, they select 104 students.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they some of the 40 students graduate and some of them is left from school because they moved to another school or couldn't reach the property score of the exam.
Yeah.
And this gave me a lot of chance to enter the school.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. How does your school select their students?
We just take anyone really. Like, because it's a public school and it's the only school around for a good while. We just take anyone. Like if you, like, yeah. So if you want to join, you're basically allowed to join, and we don't really have that much of a requirement.
Okay. So my school have about 200 to 250 students, 4 groups of 9th graders, and 2 groups of 10, 11, and 12 graders. I'm the student of a 9A group.
Yeah.
What about you?
So our school is I guess you can call it a high school as well. So we have grade 9 to 13. So because New Zealand finished at 13, and we don't have classes. So our school doesn't work with classes. You're just a year group. So you're either grade 9, 10, 11, 12, or 13. And then basically I'm grade 13. I'm in my last year of school basically. And next year I'm going to university.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even we have a main class, we also divided into subclasses which we choose subjects. For example, I chose global perspectives, and so the other classes students who chose this subject will make one class. So are New Zealand schools divided by their lessons?
Yeah, so we are basically at the start of start of a year, you get to pick the subjects you want to take. And so I can be like, I want to take math, physics, chemistry, and stuff like that. And then basically I'll be in those classes. There's no like, you don't have one class that you do everything with. It's just like you go to your certain subjects, and then you basically just have, you do whatever you want.
That's cool. Yeah, we have to study international 9 subjects and national 14 subjects, totally 25 subjects. And we choose the 9 subjects based on our perspective and have to choose our classes based on our dream and consider about if it help our profession.
Mm.
Does your school choose your classes?
Some until grade 11. So until grade 11, you have to do English and math. That's like you have to do them, and everything else it's still kind of based off what you want. But basically, during grade 9 and 10, they let you try everything. So you are put into different classes, and you get to see what it's like to be in those classes. So if you like it or not. And then when it's grade 11, you get to fully pick whatever you want based on if you like them or not.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We have about 11 to 12 hours in one day. So in a week, we have 55 to 60 hours to study
Wow.
from 8 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. What
Hmm.
about the time of study in New Zealand?
It's a lot shorter than your, I guess. So we start at 9 in the morning, and then 9 in the morning, and we finish at 3. So we actually have 6 hours, and we have 5 periods.
Okay.
And basically, after the school ends, you have other stuff like sports trainings and sports games and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So it's not as long as Mongolian schools, but it's
You know,
still.
you know Mongolian schools.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But that's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. So I thought that it would be interesting to tell you about my lesson choices.
Yeah.
So there are 4 lessons from the international subject that must be studied. These are math, chemistry, and physics and biology.
Yeah.
We don't make choices for English at our school. Teachers determine the level of each student and decide if we should learn English as a first language or as a second language.
Mm.
And we must study another language, so we choose from one language from Chinese and Japanese.
Yeah.
So I study first language English and Chinese. Do you
Yeah.
study any other language, or is there another language you want to learn?
Um, we speak English here, so that's like not an extra language, I guess. But from our school used to offer Japanese and French as like a option, and you could basically take them throughout your time at school. But recently, no, not a lot of people wanted to learn. Like they didn't really pick the subject, so Japanese and French both got taken out. So I did take French for like 1 year.
Hmm.
I find it pretty. I don't know. It wasn't. I didn't really enjoy it that much, so I didn't really take it further. But yeah, it used to be an option, but now it's not anymore.
Okay. So in addition to these 6 lessons, there's 3 lessons that we have to choose. First one is the IC Creative, includes ICT, business, economics, and travel and tourism.
Yeah.
Second is the Humanity, that includes global perspectives, world history, geography, and economics.
Yeah.
Last one is the consist of business, art, music, physical education, and computer science.
Nice.
From these lessons, I chose ICT, global perspective, and business.
Good choices.
Yeah, all of our lessons so interesting.
Yeah.
What subjects are taught in New Zealand?
Can you say that again?
Huh?
Can you say that again?
Okay. What subjects are taught in New Zealand?
Oh, basically similar things. We teach. So there's the sciences. There's biology, chemistry, physics, geography, history, and then we have our literature ones. I guess there's English, then there's like a separate one, English language for second language. So if your first language isn't English, you take that English, but and then we have physical education or PE, and then we have our technologies. So basically that would be food technology, basically where you learn how to cook and how food works, or you have metal technology or wood technology where you like learn how to make shelves and like bed frames and all the like cabinets and stuff like that. We basically work with wood and metal and stuff. And we our school does what is it called? So basically, you learn how to work cars. You learn how to fix them and stuff like that. So if you're interested in like learning how to work with cars or like boats, you can basically take it as a subject.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the school building like in New Zealand?
Um, like um, so it's like we have a massive campus, I guess you can call it. So we have a massive area, and we have like football fields and basketball courts and stuff. And then basically your classes are separated like in different places. So you finish one class, you leave that classroom, you go to a different classroom for a different class. So let's say you finish physics, and then if you want to go to P, you have to walk all the way down to the gym. And you go to the gym and for P, and then when you finish P, you got to go to the food room, which is like all the kitchens and stuff. And so basically, it's a lot of walking around. It's like all placed in different places. I know Mongolian school, at least the one I went to, was just one building, like one big massive building. There's like 4 floors, and you do go into classes in every single one of them. And, well, I did that for 5 years, and I like it here a lot better. It's like you get to go outside for a bit.
Oh yeah. So from 2015 to 2017, our school didn't have a school building, and since 2017 had its own building. It seemed that the arrangement of the school was really right, and each class had a locker, and there was a lot of space to accommodate the lockers.
Mm.
So I thought it would be nice if all the schools were like that.
Mm.
Yeah, but there were 2 schools in that building. Then last year there was a problem that the other school with many students should be in this building, and we had to move from our building.
Yeah.
Because of that, we moved out of our building. But now the new construction of our new building of school has started.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how many floor will the new building have. Maybe 3 or 4, I guess. How many floors are your school?
So basically, we have 3 buildings, and 3 buildings are we have main 3 buildings that most of the classes happen, and all of them are 2 stories. So you have classes at the bottom and then classes at the top, and basically you have 3 of them. Yeah.
Mhm. So what's your school environment like?
Um, like overall, New Zealand is a really nice place. Like weather-wise, it's always like green. There's always trees and like grass and stuff. Sometimes it can get cold during winter. Like it rains a lot during winter.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's like, and because you'll finish a class, and then while you're walking to the next class, it could be like fully raining, and you just could get completely wet because of the
Yeah.
rain. But that's like, but overall, I like it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think that if the school environment is good, the teachers and students will be excited and energetic.
That's true. Very, very true.
Yeah, I think it would be nice if all schools were well equipped and comfortable. It affects the mood a lot. What do you think about it?
I completely agree. Like if you're, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that my old school in Mongolia was bad, but it was very it was very small. So basically, you had one big building, and you were there for like 5 or 7 hours without not being able to go outside or do anything. You just stare on your desk studying for like 6 hours, and that's very tiring, I guess, like on the brain. So being able to like go outside and like move around and just getting that like, mental refresh, I guess, it's really useful. And also just having a positive environment, like just friend wise or people wise. If the teachers are like willing to, they're excited to teach you, and they're like they like what they are teaching. It's really nice. It's really helpful on the student and really encourages you to work harder.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard you've been in New Zealand since fifth grade.
Yeah.
When you went there, what was your English level and what were the difficult issues?
I have never spoken English before I came here because I came from Mongolia. There's no reason to. I didn't really speak for the first 2 months to anyone because I didn't know how to. It's very
Uh,
and but I watched a lot of like cartoons in English, and
um,
so like basically I would try to like pick up an accent from what I was listening to, and then basically and you just gotta talk like even if you're wrong and if you're just saying things completely wrong, you just gotta keep trying, and then as you get better, you just learn how to talk better.
yeah.
Like during the first few years, like I just said anything that I tried to like out because I was still thinking in Mongolian and I would like translate it and say it. It wouldn't make any sense at all. Like to anyone. They were like, "What are you talking?" And then I didn't really care. I was just really trying to get my like I don't know. I was trying to just get my brain out there and like try to let them understand what I'm saying. And just consistently doing that is really helpful for learning how to speak English, I feel like. At least that's how it worked for me.
Um, okay. When I entered this school, I noticed that teachers' communication and teaching method is have a great impact on learning subject. What's the difference of the teaching method of the teacher, New Zealand teacher and Mongolian teachers, do you think?
Um, well, homework is a big one. Like we don't really get homework until until like grade 9 maybe, like ninth grade. You don't. I didn't really get homework, so at all. Like they just don't give you homework. You have your projects, and you have like around like 3 weeks to finish this big project. But you can just do that in class or at home. It's up to you. So if you're doing well in class, yeah, I don't have to do homework. I didn't do homework for like 3 years when I came here. I, I remember the first day I asked my teacher for homework and she was like, there is no homework. And I was just like, that's crazy.
No, that's really crazy.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. A lot of things influenced me to enter the school. The help of good teachers and the support of parents.
Yeah.
What are the factors that have influenced it to you most?
Um, to like come to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Um, my mom. I didn't have a choice. I was going to school doing whatever I was doing when I was like 11 years old, and my mom was like, "Oh, we're going to New Zealand," and I was like, "Cool, we are." And then next thing you know, I'm here for 7 years. I didn't really have a choice in the matter. I just came here because everyone did, and then I like it here though. Nice here.
That's nice. So I think that the student's desire should be the biggest influence for studying, and then the teacher's help. And I try to have a schedule as much as possible because I think that if I get used to doing things on time, it will have a big impact on my studies and I will have a lot of free time. What do you try to focus in your studies?
Um, so study wise, I try to basically I try my best to understand while I'm at school. So basically, if the teacher's teaching something, I like focus really hard and then understand what they're saying. So I don't have to study as much at home. So basically, I would try to understand everything the teacher's trying to say, and then fill on the holes or the things I don't know about at home. And then basically, if I have a project due in like a week or two, I would like try to understand it first and then start it because that's like really important because like when you're starting your project and then you don't know things, you get stuck and then you waste a lot of time trying to understand it. So what I try to do is just understand everything first and then start the project and do it basically. That's how I do it.
Okay. So finally, I want to ask you, can you tell me about the difficulties of being abroad and have to overcome them? I'm very interested in this.
Yeah. Challenges, definitely a language barrier. You're here, you're completely new. You don't know how to speak and you can't talk to anyone, so that's really hard. And that's something I just got through by trying. Like I just try to speak, try to make friends consistently, even if they laugh at you. Like you don't understand if they're laughing at you because you don't understand English. Like that's like the point. Another thing is a culture difference.
Yeah.
Um, I still spent like 5 years in Mongolian school, and I spent like 11 years in Mongolia in general, and my beliefs and what I thought was right was completely different here, and they believe in completely different things. They're very more calm and relaxed about school. Like you don't have to be the best all the time. You don't have to compete with everyone, and if you're allowed to just have fun. You just because the school I was at, it was a complete race. You had to finish everything first. You had to be number one. And here you don't have to. You can if you want to, and it's really good if you want to, and I do want to. But no one's forcing you to do anything. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do, and that's like the biggest thing I feel like that I had to get over. Like I didn't understand why people were just not doing anything in class. People would come into class, not do anything, just laugh, have fun with their friends, and just leave like it was kindergarten. And I was like, I feel like this is wrong. But as I spend time here, I understand. Okay, this is how they do it, and they're doing pretty good. Like they're happy, and this we just
Yeah.
it's the difference between what we value to Mongolian and the New Zealand and getting used to how New Zealand do things is just I think that's a big struggle.
Yeah. That was a big advice for me. Thank you
Yeah,
for your advice.
all
And
good.
it's really nice to talk with you.
Yeah, it's really nice to meet with you too.
Yeah. I hope you to talk again later.
Yeah.